iPhone 14 vs Google Pixel 7. The iPhone 14 and the Pixel 7 are some of the most popular mid-range phones in the US. The iPhone 14 takes the helm from the iPhone 13, but is not the bestseller of Apple's 2022 lineup, as the Pro models are much better now. This opens a position for its direct competitors, like Google's Pixel 7, which features just as few improvements as the iPhone 14. Google has sort of soft rebooted the Pixel lineup after the somewhat disappointing Pixel 5 mid-ranger, and the Pixel 7 is definitely a step in the right direction as well. Let's see how it compared to the iPhone 14. There aren't major changes in the iPhone 14's general design language, but the Pixel 7 sports an intriguing update to its rear camera strip that makes it stand out in comparison with both its predecessor and the iPhone 14. Surely, the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max got the new frontal design with the dynamic island interface elements, but the regular iPhone 14 keeps the same narrow notch that was introduced with the iPhone 13 family. The device does come painted in a new purple color, though, in addition to the midnight, starlight, and slightly altered red or blue hues. The Pixel 7 carries the same flat display at the front with the Mac camera strip, getting one less camera than the Pixel 7 Pro, but they are now fitted in a pill-shaped form for a classier, more eye-pleasing look. The Pixel 7 is larger and heavier than the iPhone, as it has a bigger display, and brings with it a boxier look and feel in the hand. Google uses a single color for the glass back, and a polished metal frame and a complementary color for the camera bar. These are little elements, but it appears that Google has gotten them right, since the latest Pixels indeed look extremely nice. When it comes to the display, the iPhone 14 retains the 6.1-inch OLED display that was used on the iPhone 13 and iPhone 12, and did score a high refresh rate display. The Pixel 7, on the other hand, got a brighter 1400-nit 6.3-inch display. It's FHD Plus OLED panel with a 90 Hz refresh rate, so it beats the iPhone 14 in any display specification possible, including at the individual color calibration level every Pixel prides in. The Pixel 7 pair is equipped with a second-generation Tensor chip. The chip is an advancement of Google's own Tensor, the company's first homegrown mobile processor, which was utilized in the Pixel 6. The first Tensor chip bet on exceptional ML performance, but lagged behind the competition in single and multi-core CPU performance, and the Tensor G2 isn't an exception, especially against a powerful iPhone 14 processor with pentacore GPU module. The iPhone 14 is using the same chipset that is powering the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. It's definitely not a slow chip, but it marks an important precedent for Apple, as all previous new iPhones have used the latest Apple chip. The Apple A16 Bionic is only appearing on the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max. In terms of RAM, there's a bump to 6 GB on the iPhone 14, which is significant as it is 33% higher than on the iPhone 13. The Pixel 7 retains its 8 GB of LPDDR5 RAM, but Android and iOS utilize RAM so differently that quantitative comparisons are pointless. The starting storage of both clocks in at 128 GB, but while the iPhone goes up to 512 GB, the Pixel maxes out at 256 GB. The Pixel 7 comes with a 50MP primary camera with a 1 or 1.3-inch sensor, whose resolution is on par with or larger than on most other premium phones, including Apple's iPhone 14 Pro. Meanwhile, Apple simply slapped the main and ultra-wide iPhone 13 Pro cameras on the iPhone 14, but did put a brand new 12MP selfie snapper with OIS at the front. For years now, the company has relied on 12MP sensors that have gradually increased in pixel size, and the iPhone 14 is no exception. The Pixel 7 also scores a new 11MP selfie camera as its predecessor, the Pixel 6, as an 8MP front shooter. There is no autofocus, though, just as there is an AF on the ultra-wide camera like on the 7 Pro sibling, so no macro shots from the Pixel 7. Google does match the iPhone's cinematic video mode, though, and adds some exclusive features like photo blur that fixes your softish photos, be they new or old. Google has always stood up there with Apple when it comes to exceptional camera quality, and the Pixel 7 largely stays true to that mantra and generally matches the iPhone 13 Pro Max in terms of camera quality, as these are the cameras that the iPhone 14 carries, save for the telephoto, of course. Yet, if you've come to love that distinct iPhone photo look, the iPhone 14 will be the perfect photographic companion for years to come. More so since Apple has now toned down the overly warm overcast of its photos. Despite all the Tensor 2 AI jazz, in tricky situations, like portrait shots, the Pixel 7 algorithms have trouble separating object borders from their background, and leaving the Pixel 7 on auto mode at all times actually produces better results. Night or indoor shots, with the main camera turn out pretty sharp, and with balanced exposure, the ultra-wide, as can be expected, struggles more in these situations. While the selfies are pretty impressive in all situations, the only ho-hum part is the actual camera app that takes forever to switch from one sensor to the other. Despite that, we ran the first camera update the second we launched it. The iPhone 14 now boasts a slightly larger 3279 mAh unit, while the Pixel 7 got a 4355 mAh piece. In terms of endurance, the iPhone retains the upper hand in 2 out of our 3 battery benchmark test due to the puny display refresh rate and the efficiency of the A15 Bionic. Despite that, we harbored hopes about how the Tensor 2 chip would surprise us in terms of overall battery life as Google boasts AI-based power draw improvements.